I think it's time that we head to Old Pagos. It's always been here, you know, the plague. We've dealt with the plague now. I'm hoping that we can earn some large amounts of dragon bones from this. Right, to reach High Island you need a boat to go that way. We also know there's now a village off here from the old bridge, but I would rather go here first, try and get the salt, try and make the blinding powder, whatever it's called, and then go back round this pathway. Just, you know, so that I don't get murderated by the local wildlife. Also, we've now been given a job to clear the steep house, but we need to search it during the daytime, just to see how many gobbos are in there. And again, I would rather... I'd rather have the blinding powder to deal with the gobbos first. I want to pop to Howl's Dale first, though, because we kind of left them in unceremonious circumstances. Once you're done with unpacking, 3 armed men show up behind you. Their gambesons are tightly fastened, eyes grim. "She wants to see you," says the man with the braided beard. "He's holding a large stone mace, and you'll come now." "You mean Thais?" He ignores your question. "Leave your weapon here." He nods towards Shadowmane. "Move." Seems like I don't have a choice. You're surrounded by curious glances and worried whispers. Thais is in her usual spot, holding a mug with both hands. She doesn't have to say a thing. The dining neighbours get on their feet and leave the square, without bothering with their plates. Erix enters the building. Akekios heads towards the tiny islet. Excluding the guards who watch your every step, you two are alone. She waves a hand and you get pushed onto a stool, almost hitting the ground. "Forgive us for all these precautions," she says with a thick local accent, observing you with green, piercing eyes. "But I'm not sure who you are. Ni an ally, ni a threat." Her pale fingers are tapping on the wood, yet her face is like a statue. "I'm a Roadwarden. The people of Old Pagos called for help, and I answered. May they keep their scrap of the land safer for the sake of us. I'm pursuing my goals. It doesn't need to affect our common interests. I wouldn't forgive myself for sacrificing this many lives. You can spare one magic fruit for them, Thais. I'm the Roadwarden, Thais. Your view of the peninsula is off. You can help us all, yet stay on their side. When some of us gain, others lose. You took away our treasure, and now one of us will die because of it. A sick elder, a weak child, a hunter who can't be healed with a spell. Her eyes narrow and keep piercing through your skull. Would you push one of us off a cliff to save another village? How about killing me? How many lives am I worth? If I had no other choice than to decide, I would. Murdering someone would not be the same thing. Have mercy on me, Thais. I was meant to deliver messages, kill goblins, and escort travellers. I take no pleasure in making these decisions. Murdering someone would not be the same thing. Your inner voice may say so, but to those who you have hurt, the result is the same. Her voice raises slightly. Not only do you claim to have the right to make such calls, you make them from your weakness, not from conviction. When she realizes that her fingernails are scratching the wood, she hides her hands under the table. So this is it. You took our treasure, thinking 'twas not a big deal. I and others. She runs her eyes over the people who are staying at the edge of the square. We'll have to pay for it. You need to be trusted. Alright, if you say so. I'm not petty, Andalono. She returns to the accent of the city folk. You can still enjoy your stay at our lovely village, she says with a sigh, then puts on a usual smile with a hint of a smirk. We can still use your services. You may be a stranger, but at least you carry dragon bones. The guard pushes you away, and the other people read it as a sign. They get back to their tasks and meals, avoiding your eyes, and the air gets lighter. I look around. Thais, go fuck yourself. I'm not talking to her about any of this shit anymore. You're actually the biggest scumbag in this game so far. I don't need actually, do I need rations? Do I have dragon bones? I have 1 dragon bone and 2 rations. You still have the battle axe for sale. I would like to get that. Alright. Well, let's leave this terrible place then. Actually, let's talk to Elpis while I'm here. Tell me if I was looking for a healer. Oh, still nothing. Okay. All the Howl's Dell is good for is a good night's sleep. That's it. Go to Old Pagos. Through the closed gate, you hear muffled conversations and echoes of stone cutting. You knock and Tertia soon orders to open it. She stands in the middle in front of dozens of members of her tribe, though you're still told to keep your distance. The signs of illness are carved in the exhausted faces of the elders and the children, but it is not the day of sadness. You're greeted with triumphant shouts and applause. Tertia turns out to be tall and skinny, holding a spear that would be too long for most, but suits her size. While her tribesfolk are wearing tunics and robes made of ibex fur or hemp, she has put on an impressive breastplate made of animal shell. She has short, dark hair, and while her skin is dark brown, you can tell there are others in her village who carry the blood of the Southerners. Her voice matches her cheerful brown eyes as she speaks in the name of the people. We keep you in our prayers, Andalono. If we could, we would invite you to a feast, but we need to keep our distance, at least till the end of winter. We'd like to reward you, even if there's naught that would make us even. Oh? There's naught but one treasure we own in this village. A stuff very close to our hearts. She raises a rod made of iron or steel. A bit longer than a finger span, but thin, finished with a flattened edge for cutting. It occurs to you that it's a simple chisel. An elderly man chips in. It belonged to my son, the great sculptor, the greatest sculptor even has ever lived in Old Pagos. To write's glory and our great joy. His words are sonorous and solemn. It's filled with pneuma that makes the holder's hands so powerful they can carve in granite, so precise they can write in glass. A short pause, and if you think ye won't put it to good use, adds Tertia. We took the time to gather our savings. It's not much, 18 dragons, but not naught. Her chuckle sounds like it belongs to a different soul, one lost in the past. Thank you, I'm honoured. She throws the rod towards you and lands it next to your boots. It's as warm as your own skin. Be blessed, Warden, a small girl shouts, and return to us in spring so we can show ye our home. You hear many more words of gratitude. I show my respect with a bow. After some time, the villagers disperse and Tertia's eyes brighten. Her confident stance adds strength to her voice. Is there aught else you need, Andalono? I'm trying to learn more about High Island. Give me a moment. She walks deeper into the village and asks a few people about something you can't fully hear. Once she's back, there's no joy in her eyes. The illness already has taken whom ye wanted to speak with. The old sailors from House's Dell, husband and wife, who found the true word of the right, now gone. Her voice is at the brink of cracking. She closes her brown eyes and regains her composure with a few breaths. Ye may learn more in the monastery, but the monks rarely share their secrets. I'd like to hear what you have to say about the other villages. Which ones? How about Howler's Dell? They're the closest village. You can get there riding south from the crossroads with 4 signposts, but I don't trust them. She gives you a piercing gaze. They have an order of druids who bow to animals and dead spirits, and their mayor, Vice, has too many grand ideas in her head and a tongue dancing to lies. 10 years ago, she tried to tie the tribes in the north with a pact, yet wanted to grasp all the wealth, telling us we should pay her for protection. Her voice rises. Her laughter is as hollow as her soul. Long pause. Don't let them cloud your eyes. They have food, riches, mead, and pricky houses. But all of those carry poison, and this poison is what leads them. How about the White Marshes? Such a deceiving name for that dark place. Rotten to the core, led by a pagan blinded by his wicked wits. His followers are close to evil spirits and humans, for they use the empty ones as their tools. There's fury in her eyes and her voice raises. We refuse to trade with them even before that priest called himself a prophet. They swim in death and they will soon drown. You ask her a few questions, but most of her words are little more than an ardent condemnation. One point in particular draws your attention. The road through the bogs is dangerous, spiked with weird beasts. Some of them yell with human-like voices, luring travellers away from the main path. Yeah, I've come across these guys. When your knees are in the water, these beasts, jump from a tree on your back, biting your skin off. Even White Marsh is a little more than a trap set in the woods. How about the creeks? Don't know much about them. It's a small village in the Far East, younger than me. They came here as refugees from the war and now hunt for wild meat and pelts. But I've got almost no dragon bones to spare. When they tried to get our bricks, we had to refuse. You ask her for a few more questions, but she cocks her head and gives you a bored look. We've got little reason to travel so far. And they wouldn't be great neighbours or friends. They drink a lot, hunt for sport, die often, and give birth to many children. I wouldn't rely on them. How about the Gale Rocks? It's in the north, just on the coast. They follow Wright's teachings, work hard and live humbly. We used to trade with them and take our clothes to Rafina for fixing, but they betrayed our trust, and if it weren't for the plague, we'd be sharpening our blades. Oh. You ask her to share with you the entire story, which instead is told by a young man. He claims that his group was transporting a statue ordered to the tribe of Creeks, yet when they, during their stay in the tavern at the Northern Road, it mysteriously disappeared. Oh, I know where that is! It must be the bandits doing as Tertia. They keep spreading their arms wider, but we won't allow them to stay untouched, with or without Gale Rock's help. Ah! And tell me about the tribe of the Green Mountain. She sizes you up. I don't know what you've heard, but they never bothered us, and neither offered us with their friendship. The tribe keeps its distance from those who follow Wright's tablets. Ask other pagans or elders. Alright, I have no more questions. You told me that Fice had grand plans 10 years ago. Is this related to the runes in the south? Her breasts get heavy. Warden, studying the past is part of your duties. I realise that. She closes her eyes. But you'll find naught of worth in that place, and naught that can be fixed. My duty is to keep everyone safe, and I can only do so through silence. She's not willing to break her duty by telling you about the ruins. I just saved her entire settlement from the plague. That weird creature from the book you're talking about, I have quite a story for you. Tertia reacts to your story with wholehearted laughter, and as a group of villagers gathers at the gate, you're asked to repeat the whole thing. Raising your voice, you tell about the dark cat and its grey companion, not forgetting about your desperate attempt to save a lost soul. But what happened then? Asked the boy you don't recognise. Did you kill the cat, Warden? It ran away, I'm sure it's fine. Oh, I see, the kid responds enthusiastically, but is then reprimanded by an old woman. Now hush! Who knows whom it will try and murder next time? We ought to wish doom upon the monsters from the shadows. So say the Wright's tablets, adds another elder. A beast of such sage schemes is naught but a threat to us all, more a catfolk than a cat. But this is how one reckons a beast folk is hungry, savage, or a mug that can be reasoned with. They'll run on all fours to hunt, but on two to listen. The mumblings of the other villagers suggest not all of them agree with these words. As they argue, the brown-eyed woman returns her glance to you. Okay, monastery. A large red saurian is lying in the middle of the path, basking in the sun, but flees at your sight, climbing down the rocks as if they're a floor. You spot a few hooded figures by the brook. The loud thudding of tools that comes from the cave mouths echo through the valley. You call the monks by hitting the sticks, and the drawbridge lowers. Eiley gestures for you to enter the storage house with his bandaged hand. Warden? He nods. He's all alright. His young companion's right next to him observing your palfrey. I just want to check something. Okay, I only got the chisel then. I didn't get the chisel and the money. God damn it, I wanted both. The plague is no more. Eiley flinches as doubt and distrust replace his look of surprise. How? I helped an elder druid from Howler's Dell recover his strength. He healed the people of Old Pagos, and with a bit of luck, the illness won't return. He looks at Decima, not sure how to react, but her wide open eyes don't help him much. He reaches out to you with an open palm of his bandaged hand. His fingers are flinching. Will you wait here? I'll gather our order. We'd be honoured to hear the entire story. For a moment, he sounds exactly like the tribe from Old Pagos. Sure, I have time. He climbs uphill and enters the cave mouth next to the wooden bridge. His short companion follows your movements like an owl would a snake, blocking your path to the storehouse. You feel the weight of your axe. Soon, new hooded figures gather in the yard. Is it true? You hear a couple of times. When Eiley returns, there's maybe 20 souls around you, sitting on the ground, leaning against the walls, standing upright or wandering around, keenly observing you. The oldest man, wrinkled, blind, and tiny, is sitting on a stool brought by a boy who can't be older than 10. Not all of them wear sandals or carry bags, or have their hoods on, but all of them wear similar dark robes. Seems like only the children are allowed to keep hair longer than an inch. In the city harbour, many would take them for refugees. I tell the entire story. They keep interrupting you with questions about the druid, his powers, or your motivations. But once you mention the role of the altar, their look gets suspicious. They seem to have a decent understanding of Beholder and the gifts it seeks. The interrogation fades away only after you answer many of their doubts and assure them a good couple of times that the village shows no sign of an overhanging curse. Finally, Eiley asks the gathering to return to their duties. It gives you a serious look, rubbing the liver spots on his hands. There's all else we need to discuss. Go ahead. Our prelate wants to see you, though he coughs, but they're old and feeble and don't speak unless they have to, and only with those who can be trusted. He gives you a telling look. Thou mayest not be a friend of our order, but we hope to find in thee our ally. I'd be honoured to meet with him, and I'll try my best to gain your trust. He snorts. Thy deeds will speak for thee. He's not willing to take me to the prelate yet, he just said he would do. What can you tell me about the ruins of the village in the south? Are there still but one ruins there? He glanced at Decima, who moves ahead left and right slowly, then clears his throat. Well, I won't lie by pretending I know little. I just decided to let it remain amongst our many bitter secrets. Do you need help? I'm looking for jobs. He puts his hands together and repeatedly taps his fingers. After a few breaths, he glances at a wandering monk, then lowers his voice. Let me see thy horse. How fast is it? You lead both him and Decima to the storehouse. While his steps are heavy and fierce, she doesn't make as much of a sound. Eiley shows no interest in your mount. There's this enchantress. She has art we need you to pick up and bring here. He glances at the door. Follow the eastern road until you find the watchtower. Yeah, I know. It's either empty or lair. I've already cleared it out, then head east to the lake. What do you want me to bring? He waves his fingers. A set of quills. We sharpen them and ask her to make them last. Thy pet won't even notice. Why is it such a secret? It's really not. It's just that they're a surprise gift. No, I asked you to this room for a different reason. What about my reward? What dost thou want? You're asking for a dangerous journey, 5 potions, a healing potion. Spread good word about me. I want your salt. I want your mountainous salt. He rubs his cheek with his thumb. Interesting. Deal. Okay. We'll see how good of a rider thou art. He glances at the doors and lowers his voice. But there's some other stuff we need from thee. Stuff that takes subtlety and, he straightens up, dedication to our cause. And what cause is that? He rubs his lips with his thumb, gathering his thoughts. I may not care much about some of the souls on this side of Hag Hills, but the tribes deserve our protection and guidance. Aught dark may come from the east, and soon I want thee to investigate the threat. What do you want me to do? Swear thou will not betray our order. Honestly, I won't betray you. I don't really care for your order, but I'm not going to go against you. Unless you're going to do something that, is unbelievably unjust. His smile reveals his yellow teeth. Once thou reachest the enchantress' house, thou wilt find golems made of stone. I've heard they're larger than a lumberjack. Could tear thy to pieces. He looks away talking to himself. Can they be defeated? Can they do aught without the direct order from their mistress? We need to prepare ourselves. Learn about them as much as thou canst. Give them a good look. Ask her a few subtle questions. And what will I get in return? Art we don't share lightly, a secret of thy choice. He gestures for you to follow him outside, but bring us as much news about these creatures as thou canst. It's an all or naught deal. Decima stays close to him but walks backward, observing your steps closely. Since the plague is gone, can I spend the night here? He scowls at you at first, then Decima observes the sky carelessly. After a few silent heartbeats, he lets out a grunt. Maybe in the storehouse, but don't think that I'm going to look after thy horse or cook for thee. All thee canst get is a roof under thy head. That's plenty, I appreciate it, thanks. Okay. To be a friend of the Order, if I want to get powdered basalt from here. God damn you guys. So I need to start travelling back round again. Maybe we'll try and get to the old bridge then, and the secret village. I was hoping to do that in a separate part. Maybe I'd make this one just really short then. And maybe get the quills from the Enchantress. We gossip for a bit. I enter the village. I want to sleep. I have to sleep on the floor. I need to eat rations. Don't starve to death, please. We might actually have to do a job here. The shivers wake you up. You open the window and see the dense fog covering Howler's Creek, spreading like milk throughout the entire village. You hear an unused quarrel coming from the main square and spot the dancing light of torches and lanterns, yet the village remains calm and asleep. The fall will make the fog even more common. Soon roads will get too dangerous for a single rider. Oh. Right. I'm going to offer my service to the guards. Search for herbs. You'll join a group of guards and druids in their search for useful herbs, ready to carry the elders on palfrey to safety if needed. It'll take about half a day and make it dangerous. We'll do it for 2 dragon bones. Deal. Okay, I lost some appearance score. Not a huge issue. Right. Let me pop back round to the fallen tree. Anything here? Nope. Oh, I forgot about the fish trap up here as well. Oh well. Let's go back to the secluded residence then. She might not let me in, actually. I'll wait. I enter the yard. Okay. Let's train. I was asked to deliver the writing quills to the monastery. Then you're in luck. They're ready. She opens one of the heavy doors to her house and you catch a glimpse of a messy bed and a floor covered with clothes. She returns after a minute or so. Here. She opens a small leather case and pulls out the quills. A mix of translucent greys and whites. You step closer and reach out for them, but she keeps holding them. Why do you aid the monks? They're rather a grim bunch, aren't they? Some nasty rumours are in the air. Her grip is strong, her eyes meet yours briefly. You're also working with them. I hope they'll help me find Asterion. It's just a job. What do you mean by rumours? None of your concern. Better get on people's good side. Everyone has a story. I'm not one to judge. What do you mean by rumours? She releases the case with a frustrated grimace. What do you mean? What do you mean? She's pretty good at mimicking your accent. What is it you haven't heard? That the monastery brings sickness and nightmares? That the monks have a village and a bandit camp? That the prelate crawls in the caves like beast in a den? Her gaze softens when the two of you exchange looks. I'm just glad they sent you here. I'd be glad to teach my golems to speak if it would spare me the sight of nasty monastic robes. You glance at her own nasty robe, though she doesn't even notice it. I showed this chisel from Old Pagos. It used to belong to a sculptor. Do you recognise it? A sad grimace cuts through her face as she rubs her arms. After a few breaths, she holds out her open palm. I give her the chisel. She stands upright in the centre of the yard with feet spread apart, arms stretched out, and the chisel placed in her right hand. After a few heartbeats, the steel rod floats in the air, maybe 2 feet away from her face, rotating slowly, rising up, and descending like a stick on a pond surface. Her grey eyes are tender, her voice is close to a whisper. As a kid, I made a few toys that moved on their own, but they lasted no longer than a single afternoon. A spoon that made all stuff taste sweet until it melted. One candle that shined, one that gave out a green light, but they also turned into stumps. Eudoxia's long dark hair is now waving around her, but there's no wind. I wanted to make art that would last, with no end. I was 12, such an adult soul, she let out a chuckle. So I turned my back on my toys and took my father's old favourite tool. It was always in the shed. for he was afraid it would wear away. I heard he was using it to the very end. No, don't interrupt her. With a playful smile, she rotates it faster. The stitches I used to hold the pneuma inside are dwindling. I'll restore them in no time. She grabs the chisel swiftly, her hair falls on her shoulders, her eyes now focused as if she's an artist solving a puzzle. But why keep it the same? A new owner could put it to use. What do you mean? Currently the chisel adapts to the surface it touches. When used against glass, it will make powerful hits gentler. When used against stone, it strengthens them. You get the idea. She points at you with the tool and puts a weight onto her left leg. I'll remove these limitations, make it so that it will simply enhance any strike made with it. A weapon, well, against rocks. A tool of destruction. She looks up and starts to laugh at her own joke. Her relaxed shell makes her look like a different soul. Sounds useful. She returns to her previous position. Better go ahead and find aught to do. I'm not a kid anymore, but it may still take me a while. The chisel floats again, carefully examined by the enchantress. You find yourself a wooden block and sit down. You inspect your clothes, especially the cloak, and take a long look at your blade. Finally, the enchantress stands still, holding her new creation in one hand, and scratching her chin with the other. You gather your stuff and approach her, but she doesn't look at you. Something wrong? No, not at all. I'm just surprised. She hands it back to you. I didn't expect that my past intuition was this sharp. I thought it would take me much longer. Well, go ahead. Test it. Maybe there. She points out at the wall behind the house. Are you sure I want to hit this against the wall? The chisel is just as warm as it was when you received it at Old Pagos, but now it quivers gently, as if it's barely confining its power. You press it against one of the larger bricks and hit it with the blunt side of your axe. The rock moves by about 2 inches with a pattern of cracks that resemble broken glass. After your next strike, it falls out of the wall, leaving behind only a cloud of dust. Shocked, I step back. Ulysses welcomes your return with a confident smile. Pretty good, huh? Thanks to you, I finished what I left behind many years ago. She takes a deep breath. Let me know if you need out else. You left Old Pagos during the same time when the village in the south collapsed. What happened? No, the plague is no more. You tell her about your deeds, but she stares into the distance, without so much as a gesture, and doesn't ask you a single question. It takes her a minute to form a few words. So there was no hope for them. But now it's there for others. Thank you. You left Old Pagos about the same time. What happened? I'm no longer a part of the northern tribes. I shouldn't speak in their name. She looks at the closest garden, then at the tools, and finally at her clean fingernails. When you're at Old Pagos, who speaks with you? After you mention Tertius, she draws out her words. If you have an hourglass, you may want to wear it. It'll be easy to convince her. Ah, after a long pause, you start to look around, and only then does she find the right words. And is she healthy? I haven't talked with her in many years. You admit that your conversations don't give you the full picture, so all you can do is describe the confidence of her voice. I've seen her, and that the tribe seems to trust her. I'm happy for her, she says with an absent voice. You exchange looks, it's meant to say, I guess. It may have little meaning now, but tell her as follows. The warden ought to know about Steep House, the little otter. She looks away, blushing. She'll know it's from me. Oh, so Steep House, I think, might be the village that are ruined. What about the gargoyle? Can't an enchantress show off a trophy? She gives you a proud smile. My sentinels took it down years ago. The tribe of Old Pagos is fond of statues even, so I have my own, like in the old days, long before monks came to the north. Seeing your puzzled look, she twirls her hair. A dead gargoyle on the road, or by a village gate, was meant to scare off evil spirits. I don't know about that, but it's a sight sure taught the local beasts who they're dealing with. I kind of wanted to mention to her as well that, you know, the old monks of monkdom want to know about these golems, but I wasn't going to give up any secrets to those guys. Do you need help with anything else? Her lips form a shadow of a smile. I do, but it won't be as much of an ordeal, just a simple errand. She moves closer and pulls out a dry flower petal from her pocket. See, it's like an orange tulip, but has much larger leaves. It's called snake bait. Bring me 1 or 2, freshly picked. I'll pay you 5 dragons. Fair enough. Any tips where I can find it? That's the hardest part. You can try the western villages, or in the deep woods. They need light so not in caves, but stay in shadow so below trees. Edges of meadows would be my guess. Or maybe you'll find one just by the main road. Keep your eyes open. 5, what do you need it for? I simply want it. Her voice gets colder. These flowers are hard to find. I'll pay 5 dragons for them any day. You start to ask another question, but she warns you with a scowl. That's all you need to know. Alright, deal. Okay. I can get back to the pelt, which is very nice. 3 hours. God, I've got 3 hours, 15 minutes. I don't think I've got time to mess around here, but we do need to go back again, probably at some point, to get to the old bridge. I can't rest here. I can rest in the abandoned watchtower, though. Maybe I rest there instead. Also, I was hoping that maybe something was going to be, you know, under the signpost maybe, but so be it. We're going to sleep here, I think. You're hungry, I know. I'm eating my last ration for this. Right. You open your eyes, yeah, there's unpleasant things. It's bugs. Right. Let's not get to the secluded place just yet. The secret village. I want to be better prepared for it. Right, any flowers here? No. Any flowers here? No. Alright, we should have gone to the pelt. And slept there. Any flowers here? The trail connecting the Dawn with the southern crossroads remains hardly usable. Let's clear the path. Get back in the saddle now. The last thing I want is to be running through there and, you know, trip over some fucking broken leaves and break Shadowmane's ankle or something. Approach you about the goblins. I'm looking for knowledge about wild creatures and negotiate about things. Can I wash my shell in here? I need 3 pieces of bathing equipment. Are you crazy? Actually, I can still wash. Okay, that's fine. Enter the inn. Quintus? Have you ever heard about High Island? I heard alright. You can see its volcano from Old Pagos. The monk said it's a weird place, but also a tale for the worthy. You ask him if he knows this tale, and he glances in the direction of his home. Nah. I bring good news from Old Pagos, the plague's no more. What? He leans back. Say again? When you repeat, he tilts his head back and puts hands on his waist, bursting in laughter. His voice gets stronger. Tell me all! He has little patience, constantly throwing more questions at you about the druid, his plan, your gifts from the magic tree. He's far from happy when he hears about the prolonged seclusion. Yes, it's fair. I'll stay here for some more time. I don't want to mess stuff up, like, I'm not as dumb as a bird. He smiled again. Thank you, Warden. Your soul carries duty like no other. I need you to return the favour. I'm heading to High Island. He squints his eyes. The bandage almost fall off his face. Pulling me back in, eh? Well, as long as it's not just the 2 of us, I'll prepare my stuff. Just tell me when you're ready. Brilliant. Any leftovers? Oh, baby. Also, show me your wares. I need to buy some food rations, sadly. Just give me 1 ration, thank you. Let's talk. You and your group arrived to this peninsula not long before the village in the west was ruined. He glances at your weapon and turns away from you, moving a few jars on the shelf but without achieving anything specific. No, I don't think so. I may be in need of a Roadwarden services, but not of their nosiness. I'm not dropping it so easily, you start, and the man lets out an unusually loud chuckle. You notice movement at the entrance, and the man's gestures suddenly get more confident. Is that so? So why can't you figure out what happened to that place by yourself? Pillaged by humans, destroyed by monsters. He makes an annoyed click with his tongue. That's one way to put it. He takes a deep breath, giving it even larger. Fine, I'll give you that, but I've no interest in changing things as they are, and helping you now may cut a branch on which I sit. You ask him what he wants in return, and he runs his fingers through his bluish hair. Oh, nothing fancy, just pay me. He sizes you up. Considering everything, how about 23 coins? That's too much. Let's agree to disagree. Holy shit. 23 gold coins, man. He really doesn't want to tell me about it. Alright, see you later. Right. I hate going to this steep house, but I'm going to head back here because I feel like the flowers may be on the outside. The village remains dead. Broken gate in the north will lead you to the village. I don't want to be in the village. I want to look around the northern gate. No! Not there! The paths here are almost reclaimed by grasses. Oh fuck, let's go through this place. To your east and west, you see shadowy alleys behind damaged buildings, while the path south leads to the main square. I want to be on the outside. Return to the northern gate. Oh fuck, I'm leaving this place. Stop trying to make me go into the steep house. I want to go round the steep house. Actually, let's have a look at the beholder now. Does this look any different? I approach the altar. The cream-coloured limestone is cold and smooth. The tree is now visibly taller and wider, but it doesn't move anymore. I wonder if I can offer more magical stuff about what happens. I walk away. Okay, I searched the area some more. Any flowers here? After a few minutes of disturbing the local fauna, you're sure there's nothing more here that can be found. Terrific. Take me back to Old Pagos, please. The messenger boy is coming through. Eurydice has... Oh, sorry. A massive flock of white and orange birds is circling above the hill, casting a shadow on the plateau. You knock on the gate a few times, but for a minute or two no one comes. Finally it opens with Tertia standing in the centre. You see a hint of a smile in her brown eyes. It's good to see you again, Andalono. Eurydice has a message for you. The warden ought to know about Steep House, Little Otter. She squeezes her spear tightly. Raccoon isn't one of us anymore. She starts with confidence, then pauses. But I'll consider her words. I don't want to click this option. I think this will make them not like me. Take me to the monastery. Okay. About the things he asked me to do. Here are your quills. He reaches for the case with his bandaged hand and opens it gently. He greets him with a wide yellow smile. So, our deal was about a good word. Ah, that's right. Thou hast done it from the goodness of thy heart. He snorts and points at behind him. I'll let the prelate know, and my friend from Old Pagos as well. Well done. Okay. I don't trust you any more than this. I can get back to Howler's Dell in time. Let me just go back to Old Pagos and then down again. Okay, so they still don't trust me enough. Sure, I get it. We gossip, I enter the village. And we're sleeping here. We don't rent a room tonight, though. I will eat my own food, if you don't mind. The days are getting shorter still. Alright. Oh, I can just go to White Marshes now. The thing's open. That's ominous. Okay. Take me to the garden. Maybe I can find some flowers there. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, you want me to go to the rock slide? I'm not ready for that just yet. Forage for wild plants, please. I found wild plants. Oh, the creepers are blocking the way. Oh, it's because I was in the wrong mode. I get it. I get it. Right. Fish, are you in the basket, please? Ah, it's died. Alright. Set the trap again. And I guess I go to Foggy's. She hasn't got anything for me. So I just need to be making money right now, I guess. Who said they were going to help me with the tunnel, potentially? I can't even remember. Alright, I might have to go to this hidden village at some point. I think what I'm going to do is check out maybe here for any fresh plants. I don't trust going along this pathway. And then I'm going to loop all the way back to Steep House, and maybe I'll go through the Steep House. I was really hoping to pick up the salt from here, though. It's kind of annoying that I couldn't. I wonder if I could have brought the chisel back here as well. I was considering that at one point. I jump into the stream. There we go. A bit more clean now. I helped clear the plague from Old Pagos. It may not be a safe place, but it will survive. Ella's grin is soon followed by his raised voice. Are you serious? Everyone! He addresses the people working near the square. Tell the others, the plague is gone, we're safe. After his eyes return to you, he clears his throat and turns away again. Old Pagos is safe! You explain briefly what happened, and he spends a good few moments considering the old druid's part. I wouldn't expect someone from Howlers to help another soul in need, he says while his hands clench the bottom part of his cloak. Not since they're ruled by a tyrant. But it's not the first time this forest speaker has protected the peninsula from a grave threat. He smiles at you. And so did you, I guess. Can you tell me anything about the ruins in the south? He gets upset even at the mention. He freezes for a good moment and finally takes a deep breath, puts away his tools and looks you in the eyes. His fingers are moving slowly, as if he's trying to warm them up before playing on a lute. Don't push me onto those dark grounds, Andalono. I've been stepping on them for years, but I still struggle. Please. About the eastern path, okay, never mind. How about the tribe of the Green Mountain? A chisel falls out of his hand when he reaches for it. He looks around, making sure there was no one else around. Not really. When I was a kid, I saw the older tribesfolk speaking with them. In the old speech, I think. They aren't around anymore, but I've heard we owe them a lot. Right, see you later. Ephron! Have you met the tribe of the Green Mountain? He leans away, gives you a surprised look, but then shrugs so nonchalantly that his hat falls on his back. Nah, they use old speech. It sounds like a drinking song of a seagull. He scoffs at his own joke. They only talk to our elders like Foggy, he whispers. Aye, though don't call her that. She was there was the time when they gave us seeds and spears on a visit, and we also brought them gifts to ask for something. What was it? After he prates for a bit, he changed the topic. Alright. I will try and find your hunters. You sell fish trapping a chicken. I don't want either. Alright, I think I'm done with the creeks again for now. Let me look at the Wanderer statue. Is there anything I can do here? Do not wash yourself in this water, you crazy, crazy lady. Or lady? Guy, sorry. I'm a male in this series, it's not Pokemon Unbound. Okay. The workers are now resting, preparing themselves for the arrival of the fishers, while the younger locals still have to move wares and tools between the buildings. Okay, this is the usual spiel. Now, they said that Old Pagos were potentially at war with them. So, maybe they're not going to be happy for them. Can you tell me about anything that happened in the village to the distant south? A polite smile crosses her lips, while her violet eyes remain firm. I'd rather not talk about it, alright? After a moment of hesitation, she continues, but slowly. A few of the hurt families are still with us, and we agreed to leave it to them if they were to seek retribution. Trying to learn more about High Island. Then you should ask someone interested in old tales. We forbid our fishers to swim near it, and our neighbours aren't challenging us on this. She reaches for one of the tablets and notes something quickly, and as she carries on, she sounds disinterested. More than frustrated. The volcano there erupts rarely, and merely hits us with the tides. We have nothing to gain from those woods but claws and thorns, and even getting to the land is a dangerous task. How about going with this? The people of Old Pagos could use an old friend right now, maybe some supplies for the winter. She straightens up and frowns. I think you must understand the shape of our past alliance, you do. Well, it's true that our forebears had strong ties even before Pagos started following the right in their own river of faith. For years now, we've been at odds, contacting each other merely out of necessity. Ever since we were accused of robbing them. She suddenly pauses, glancing at her granddaughter and clearing her throat. Wrongly accused. We are not welcome at their gates, but I have no doubt they wouldn't help us either, if you say so. Alright, I'm going for it. I cleared the plague. What do you mean, cure the plague? She keeps her voice low, but the spark in her violet eyes betrays the utter shock. She clears her throat and rests her elbows on the desk. Were they just getting cold? You try to tell her the entire story, and even though at first she stares at you from above her clasped fingers, she seems to get smaller and weaker each time you mention the old druid or the mysterious altar at the edge of the swamp. Finally, she stares at the wax tablet, defeated rather than joyful. May the right bless the kindness of that pagan. The perfumed guard announces briskly. As well as yours, Roadwarden, you've helped our old friends in need when we thought there was no hope. Severina. He turns to the old woman. Let's offer this stranger some help. Is there some labour you struggle within our village? He smiles at you. Free food, free room, 5 repairs, some free baths. I may need a boat one day, or I don't need favours. Just make sure everyone knows I'm useful. Please just open up dialogue for me. Severina raises her head and sighs. You won't buy fish merely with fame. She starts slowly, but then nods. I'll mention it soon to the council of our elders and head workers. Fantastic. I could still do some work for you. She runs her eyes over you, then glances at the guard in front of her. There's something that may be an easy task for a traveller, chiefly one that doesn't talk too much. She reaches for one of her tablets and nods with approval. Right, I want you to look around and not ask around. There's a group of spice and tools merchants that was meant to reach our village some time ago, yet they fell silent, most likely taken to the fogs by some beasts. Keep your eyes open. Maybe you'll find their shells or even better, wares. Once you learn what happened, I'll pay you. She starts to hum to herself, looking into a pouch from the desk. 5 coins. Just don't speak with any other tribe about it. She stares at you harshly. We must keep this between ourselves, and if the merchants turn out to be nowhere to be found, I'll pay you as well. I found an abandoned wagon on the eastern path. You describe your findings, but she's hesitant to trust you. Right. I would expect them to have a wagon, but that ain't enough to be sure. Better get there fast, seek some trails. The cart breaking could have forced its owners to turn back. Find a clear sign of the merchants report only to you. Come here for my dragon bones. Got it. My patience runs short, outsider. Severine gestures for you to pause. Are you sure other matters can't wait till tomorrow? Fine, see you later. Alright, Bathman? Are you offering me a discount? Absolutely not. Luna? Wants to be open to tunnel. Navica? I'm still interested about the boat. No. I already own a winged hourglass. Oh, I forgot. Can I equip that winged hourglass? You can't use it in. Am I wearing it? Because that'd be pretty useful for going to Old Pagos to have it on. Because it was mentioned to me that... what's her name? Tertia is more likely to talk to me. Sewing kit, gamson repairs. Yeah, I'd like all of this stuff, but I'm not made of money. Tatius doesn't help me, the shield, I can't use it. Okay. Let's go to the beach. Let's go to the beach. Beach, let's get away. Hey. I approach the pier. I head to the fishers. Have you ever been to High Island? Why? Are you sailing now? He doesn't hide his sneer, but after you say you may need to go there, he reaches for the beaker on his neck. Don't you know that visiting the island is forbidden? Not just by the Green Mountain tribe, but because it's a dangerous place, wicked and wild. So you haven't been there, you ask gently. Right, and I don't plan to. Them harpies sit on every rock on the route from our pier to the island, and would take twice as long to sail around them. Rowing there would exhaust anyone, barring the most experienced arms. Right, thank you, see you later. Okay, so we have not too long till dusk. Let me go back to Foggy's then, because Foggy might have some more info for me. I guess I have to... What's it called? High Island. She leans forward, but her voice seems to be incapable of a whisper. You don't plan to swim there, do you? You won't get there without a boat. And with a boat, it's still a dice roll. There's always a drunk or two in the Rocks and Howlers who says they've been there, but it's all rubbish. They hardly touched the island's wall. You try to pressure her in a bit, but don't learn too much. She claims that it's high above the sea, and the top of a wall-like steep cliff, and a rope may not be enough for one to get to the top. Okay, we need the hook. From time to time, a pillar of smoke flies out of the volcano in the centre of the island. The whole place is green, with animals as great as dragons. Could it store treasures, like the folks say? Maybe. But no soul knows where to look for them. For all I know, some child started a tale and played with everyone's desperate dreams. Thanks. Try to remember, maybe there's someone you know who's been to High Island. She scratches her knee. How could I dare? It's such a dangerous place, and our folks would be upset with us reaching it without their permission. She's not willing to tell me about it then. Oh, at some point I'm going to have to exhaust all these dialogues. But that's not for today, I think. Let's give me a little sleep. I will rent free a gold coin. Alright. So hang on a minute. What do I have in the alchemy set? I'm still missing... I'm missing all of the things. I just want alchemical ingredients. We have cursed soil, cave mushroom. I need the snake bait flowers myself. That basalt rock is just an impossible dream. So I think my plan now might actually be to go all the way back round and go to this hidden secret village. Maybe... What time are we on? 53. How long does it take to get back there? 1 hour 45, but I really want to go this way around. So it's going to take a lot longer. Okay, let me check the fish traps on the way. I might even grab the fish trap, honestly. Okay, I can't actually grab it back. There's nothing in it, therefore I can't return it. That's how that works, right? We gossip for a bit, into the village. I could offer my service as well. Maybe that's a pretty good way to end the day. You'll join a group of guards and workers that are meant to remove obstacles, branches, etc. You keep them in touch with the village. It'll take about half a day and will make it dangerous. I'll do it for 3 dragon bones. I only lost looks again. I will take that any day of the week. Okay. Get me out of my alchemical section. Let me eat a food ration, please. Thank you. And we will Travel back round here, I guess. How long left in the day? 6 hours. I'm so worried about this steep house. I really, really want my blinding dust, but I just don't think I'm going to get it. Maybe these guys might have some salt for me. Maybe I can produce my own salt soon. Right, there's nothing for me to do here. 1 hour 15 to here. How long have we got left in the day? 1 hour 45. We enter the tower, and we're going to sleep here. I know it sucks, but what can you do? I'm going to look way more druidic now. I'm starving hungry, and I look unbelievably unhealthy. I smell sweat and dirt. People will stay away from me. Well, you know what? That's what I like. I'm like IRL anyway. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode, leave a like, comment, subscribe, everything helps me out. I think next time we go to the old bridge and try and get to this, hidden village and see what they have to say. Maybe I can get salt that way, because I don't really trust the monks at the monastery. Honestly, this was kind of an interesting part, because I would have said before today's episode that Howlsdale, I wasn't really a huge fan of them, but I wasn't against them. Now my turnings have honestly turned against Howlsdale. I don't really have anything positive to say about them. The monks can go fuck themselves, honestly. Old Pagos itself is fine. And I'm honestly warming up a little bit to Gale Rocks. Just a little bit. The Creeks is still great. I like Foggies. I like the Pelt. And I like the Elder. He seems a decent guy. And honestly, I like Udacir as well. If she marches a Golem army across this peninsula and takes over, honestly, round of applause for her. She deserves it. Anyway, we'll see you next time then when we check out this hidden village. Goodbye.